All right, welcome traders. Today is the market wrap for Thursday, November 9th, 2023. I'm running this in the morning of Friday, but we're going to cover Thursday's trading session, our accounts, and how the day shaped up yesterday. So let's dive into how the markets fared on Thursday, November 9th. So for the S&P, finally had a little bit of a down day, breaking the streak finally. Now, if we look at the daily, did we fill the gap? Well, technically, the low back on this candle here on September 20th, the low on this candle was 438.43, and the high yesterday, 438.47. So technically, the gap is filled. So now that the gap is filled, everybody can get on with their life, and we can look for the next things to be done. So if you're going to the upside, there's a really tiny little gap over here, but more than anything else, you've got a lot of gaps below here. Now, will we hit those? I don't know. We'll see what happens. If we're looking at the weekly and daily, the weekly continues to improve on MACD here with a bullish PSAR reversal signal. RSI has been moving higher until yesterday. And then here on the daily, had MACD roll over a bit on the session with RSI turning down. One bar again doesn't make a trend, so we'd want to see some kind of continuation today. So on Friday, right now futures up at the beginning. And we're looking at the Qs, pretty much. Now I say it every day, but pretty much the same type of session. MACD and RSI had been moving higher on the weekly with a bullish PSAR reversal today. So very bullish on the weekly overall. On the daily session here, we did break down a tad yesterday. But if we look at this trend channel that we have been in, we'll extend these out just a fraction here. So if we extend these out, we broke through it. We've moved sideways for 2 days, flirting with the 2 ATR, and then came back down to the top of that channel, which could now flip to a support level. So we'll see what happens. But you've got a very flat 3 ATR and 2 ATR here that we have punctured on the 2 ATR 3 times now in 3 days and have not been able to get above that. Will that happen today? I don't know. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on it. But we are still a bit overextended as far as this chart goes, but not on the internals. We are not overbought on either the RSI and the MACD. We've had some higher readings in the past. So not too worried about that yet. We'll see what happens on IWM here. Another pretty significant down day yesterday. So breaking back now into this particular channel that we bounced off of and held. So we broke the 21 EMA yesterday, back down into the channel, heading towards the bullish PSAR signals that are down here. We'll see what happens, but it looks like Friday, a little bit of a bounce at the open. We'll see if that holds. But on the daily, MACD has been falling for 2 straight days, and RSI breaking back down through the 50. So downtrending here, heading back to the support level overall on the session. Put call ratio yesterday, just sideways action, not a whole lot of anything on the day, but we'll keep an eye on the moving averages heading lower. The 21 still heading down. If this continues to head down on the 10 and 21 moving averages, then I think that's really bonus for the markets heading higher. VIX closed the session yesterday up fractionally to about 15 and change. The dollar index just staying inside this sideways pattern. We can just keep dragging this thing sideways here. And we've been pretty much inside this box now since dating back to October 3rd. So well over a month, just sideways trading on the dollar. On the day yesterday, it did move up higher on the session. So dollar moved up higher back to the 21 EMA, and it's just fractionally off in after hours trading. If we look at the 10-year Treasury note yesterday, it bounced back up to 46.33. So bounced back up on the day, breaking back above the 50, and trading down fractionally in after hours. and then TLT on that same news dropped off pretty significantly yesterday. Now, we did break this short-term downtrend here to the upside, and then back yesterday to the downside. Right now we're still riding this line, but you're flirting with the 2 ATR, not quite the 3 yet, so a little bit overdone here, and you've got things moving sideways on MACD just for a day, but on the weekly, we still continue to look like we're improving off of these lows with bullish PSAR signals here, and then we're just following this uptrend. I think this pullback really, really healthy yesterday. Now, I think today, on Friday, you'll probably get a little bit of a bounce, at least at the open. So I think we're just hanging in here. There are a couple gaps to repair down here, but I think having a pullback here was a good opportunity. I think this really sets up well for bond traders. All right, I'm not going to spend too much time on the futures. I'm going to skip all the way to just oil today on this, because we got a couple other things I want to jump into with you on the session. So oil, we talked about it in the previous session that you had gotten all the way to the 3 ATR and potentially looking to reverse, and we didn't get a big reversal yesterday. We did come up fractionally off the lows, but we are oversold on the RSI on the daily. We're still heading lower on the weekly. So weekly still looks pretty bearish overall as we head lower, but a decent bounce day yesterday, and in the after hours now, yet oil bouncing off of this more. Yes, the 3 ATR is heading lower, but it is not in a super steep incline that you can ride up. It's a pretty flattish to slightly down. It's not a 45-degree angle, this thing, that you're looking at here. So from here, we didn't go down at like a 45-degree angle. This is more of like a 30-degree angle or so that we're dealing with here. So a little bit more of like a 30-degree angle down. So we'll see what happens here, but you got a good bounce in oil. So you've got this support here that was a previous pivot level that's acted as support for 2 sessions, maybe 3 now, getting a little bit of a bounce off of that. You're still past the 2 ATR. So I think you could get a little bit of a bounce sideways on oil here. Let's see if we get any kind of a bounce higher or just, again, some movement sideways. MACD did improve on the session, and RSI coming off of oversold levels. And then gold continues to get beat up a bit here as gold has pulled back, breaking the 21, breaking now the 50 EMA. MACD and RSI just continuing to head lower. You're right in the middle of these bands, but you're starting to, on the daily, you're definitely also right in the middle of the bands here on the weekly. I think is a great chance to sell strangles in here on this pullback to this area. So I think it's a good strangle opportunity on gold. Starting to head down a little bit more, but I just don't know how much further gold falls from here. So there's a couple futures options. The sectors on the day yesterday, most down, XLK down, XLY down significantly yesterday, and the XLC down, and XLE down as well, XLF, the financials down, most everything down on the day. Even the semis were down, and if we look at regional banks as well, down pretty sharply yesterday. So overall, most sectors down on the day. And if we take a look at where some of the major stocks traded, Apple on the session yesterday dropped a bit off of its move. It's still above the 2 ATR. Tried to run up a little higher. I think it's still due for a pullback. You had Microsoft pulling back above the 3 ATR. You had Amazon pulling back, touching the 3 ATR the day before. Meta, though, continuing to climb. It is nowhere near overbought levels on anything. Google pulled back yesterday. It's still struggling with its gap. It had a nice increase here as we move sideways. But Google, trying to fill this gap, pulled back yesterday. We'll see if it continues to move sideways or if it can fill that gap. NVIDIA moved up higher, breaking the 2 ATR yesterday, almost to the 3 ATR before finishing lower. Still an up day on NVIDIA. We'll keep an eye where that particular trade goes. But right now you're starting to get into overbought territory as you head into earnings. Tesla, pretty solid drop. This is why the XLY had a bigger drop yesterday. Tesla, pretty solid down day yesterday. After all of this movement off of these lows and everybody getting all giddy, it erased much of that. And now there's a little bit of a gap down here. And there's gaps all over the place everywhere in most stocks. But, Tesla, certainly not a stranger to those. There's a lot of gaps to the downside to be filled on a lot of stocks after last week's move. Tesla almost filled its gap. So we'll see how Tesla fares here. Again, I'm not touching anything at those highs. If we get a decent pullback, I think you have some good opportunities on some stocks to get into, but I think you got to be patient. Let's take a quick look at where the account was on the day as we head towards the Friday open here. We finished with Delta 467 yesterday, perfectly in line. 1375 on Theta, perfectly in line. Netlick yesterday rose 322.706. We're just off, fractionally off of the all-time high that we had. BP did jump up a bit on the session yesterday. We didn't make any trades. We did not add anything, but BP did rise on the down move on the day. We're at 81, of which 10% of that roughly is in bill, so we're really about 71. But I want to take a quick look at the portfolio. So I'll give you guys a quick look at the portfolio. And here's what we have in the portfolio. And this is, again, Friday morning prior to the market open. I'm going to be very quick running through this. BP dropping a bit. We're down to 78, of which 21,000 of the 25,000 of that BP is being used for bill, as we have $100,000 worth of bill here that's just going against our cash position, so no margin interest or anything on that, just right now free margin trade. Oil, we've got a 112 on oil, up 46% in 32 days. This thing is in great shape. We have an oil strangle down 7% just fractionally, and we have several oil naked puts that are down right now, but we're all good on these. Nothing to do on those oil naked puts at this point. Another 112 on oil. This one's down fractionally because it's only 7 days old. We've got naked puts way down at 59. Nothing to do on this one. When markets move against you quickly at the beginning of a 112, you do go a bit negative at the beginning. Then things start to even out. And then we have an oil strangle down fractionally. And then we have a last naked put on oil here. It's up 1,400, almost $1,500. It's at 76%. We got 5 days left in this trade. This is the remaining naked put from a 112, and there goes the market open on the session for Friday. Let's take a quick look at ES. We have some new adjusted PDSs here on a 112. This thing's up, almost 100% already in 71 days. This January FB 112, so the Fat Bastard 112, this thing's up 651%. With some adjustments, no adjustments made on that one yet. So that is unadjusted, and this thing's up nicely in 7 days, 651%, according to TOS, or to Tasty Trade here, not Tom. We have a January 19, 112, 74% up. January 31, 112, 70% up. We have a strangle up 16% in 8 days. We got another February 112 up 66% in 18 days. We got a February strangle up 12% in 4 days. We got another February 112 up here, 26% so far in 8 days. So those are all doing fantastic. And then some of the older ES trades, we've got an FB 112 that we have made all kinds of moves on. So we've adjusted the put debit spreads. We've added puts to turn the naked puts into another put debit spread as well, locking in some profit, as well as turning the naked puts into a put debit spread. This thing's still up nicely here, up over $3,000 on that one. Here's a November 112, standard 112, not an FB, just a standard 112. This thing's been adjusted, so these numbers aren't exactly correct here, but the naked puts are up 93%. I'll be taking those off anytime. And then this 112 that we've already adjusted, we could technically close it for a $3 credit right now. So these numbers are actually not correct. on Tasty because it doesn't figure in when you do some rolling. So you can see we've rolled some stuff here. It's only 18 days on part of this trade. We have a number, November 30, 112. This is up 92%. We'll be taking that off shortly in the next couple days. We've got a BA 112 here. This continues to move forward, 158% up now in 29 days. And then a December LT 112, this thing is moving along. It's up over 100% already. So there's those. Gold, we've got two strangles. First strangle here is up 22%. Second strangle here is up down 34%. So the newer strangle is only 4 days in, and gold's been slipping quite a bit for the last several sessions. It's all good. This one's the one that'll be closest anyway to coming off at some point. So overall, gold doing just fine. We're sitting on a copper 112 trade. This thing has 17 days left in the trade, up 96% on that. And then, of course, Bill, which we've been in now for just a few days on the Bill trade. And it's actually up a little bit, as Bill is always down at the beginning of the month once it makes its distribution. So I like to enter Bill earlier in the month when the price is lower, right after the distribution. As that comes out, I can get in. Not that I'm looking for big capital appreciation, but if I have to close this, I'd rather close this for right now an $80 winner or something if I have to close it. But this, $100,000 in net lick on this particular one. So on $100,000 in net lick, I think we're around 5.3% or so annually, which would give us roughly a $441 distribution if we hang into this till the end of the month. $441 using 25,000 in margin on that would give us a return on capital of 1.8% in a month. 1.8% in a month is pretty good considering annualized. That's about a 22% return on capital. Pretty good right now for Bill, as those rates are there. Anyway, there's a quick look at the account. We're off and running. It's Friday morning. Account's up 3,281 on the session. Deltas are great. Thetas are great. Buying power's in good shape. Nothing to do here. So we'll look to see if we close anything in the account. We've not made any closing trades for 2 days. It's the beauty of this. You don't have to trade daily. I was traveling yesterday. Didn't do any 0 DTE because I was traveling. Didn't have to worry about anything because the way we trade, you can take days off and not really have to monitor the market. You take a quick look at it. Is there anything that has to be dealt with? Right now, I have nothing to be dealt with in this account. Nothing close to being closed for a loss at all. And then winners, I'm still a little bit of ways away from closing any particular winners. Don't need to do any adjusting. So we'll see what happens overall on the market. But everything looks good. All right. So there's the wrap for Thursday's November 9th trading. If you like this, you like what we're seeing, you want to learn more, click the like button, subscribe to this channel, as well as come see what we're doing in the Discord. We'll see you guys there. We are also planning a live event for maybe February sometime. So maybe start to put that in your back of your mind. If you guys want to see how we trade, see what our members are doing, see what we're doing. We'll be discussing all the different 112 trades. We'll be discussing how to adjust all the different trades that we do, not just 112s, but strangles and bear trap trades and all the other trades. We'll be discussing intricate details on how to adjust using Delta and some more advanced tools. We're going to get into market profile, what we do on a daily basis with market profile and the different levels that we indicate for our members every single day. We'll get into fixed income trading with Bill, T-bills, how to apportion your accounts for that. So some really good stuff. Stay tuned for details on that, probably someplace warm in February. All right, everybody take care. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.